Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing this fine evening? Let me make this less bright on my face. Hello, everybody. It's midnight. We have, how many hours do we have left? What's going on with this thing? 20 hours. We have 20 hours left. We are less than 50 grand away from 1 million. I think we can get there, if not close enough for the likes and retweets to possibly matter. I should probably I'll help as much as I can. I got to do some more posts on like Facebook and Instagram that I haven't done today to just make sure people know this is the last day. I think a lot of people were confused by the extension. So, excuse me as I ramp up, because I thought this Kickstarter was going to end a day and a half ago. And I was prepared for it to end. I don't know if you guys know about this, but when I have a really heavy dev cycle, my schedule, as well as Danielle's and Peach's, tends to drift. Due to the lockdown, it's drifted severely because we have no reason to wake up to take Peach to school. So it's swung all the way around to the point where it's a few days ago we were waking up at like 5 p.m. every day. So we'd get like a few hours of light before utter darkness. And I was like, okay, well, this is easy. We just, right when the last day, the last stream hits, which was a day and a half ago, we'll just stay up as late as we can. We do this thing called flipping, which isn't healthy. I wouldn't recommend it, but for us, it's the only way to do it. And what it is we'll stay up as late as we can, and then we will sleep in as much as we can, and then stay up as late as we can. And we do that for about 5 days. And it jumps. It's a little jet laggy, but it's not too bad. It jumps the day about 2 hours every day. Sorry about that. So eventually we wrap back around and we're waking up at like 4, 5, and 6 in the morning, and we're on a super early schedule. It's also cool too, because we can get a lot of stuff done. I usually get a lot of work done during that downtime, since it's just darkness for all day long. And we clean up the house, and the usual upkeep happens at that point in time. We also watch a lot of movies. But so I thought we were going to start flipping that day. So it already started. And we were waking up at like 6. And today we woke up at 8. So I'm slightly jet lagged. And I'm going to be staying up as late as possible today. So that said, that's why this is the final stream. And that's why this is late. If I was on a normal schedule, we would do a countdown stream, but realistically, I will probably most definitely be asleep when this ends. So we're going to celebrate now together. Celebrate the already hugely successful Kickstarter. It's pretty crazy. I'm super happy. The fact that we're so close to 1 million on a game that's not tied to an IP, that got a lot of traction just from word of mouth, and has, 14,000 backers is pretty nuts. Pretty fucking crazy. It almost did half as good as the Isaac Kickstarter. So it's like, it's pretty bizarre, and definitely makes me want to venture into uncharted territory more. I honestly want to thank you guys, because for the past month, I have not thought about bad world things much at all. I've been so focused on this and focused on all the cool stuff you guys have submitted, and honestly how cool you guys have been. Just the Kickstarter ride and the busyness of it. It's really gotten me out of my head. And so thank you for that. It was cool just hanging out. It was cool just talking. It was cool improvising all this wacky shit that we did, making up a bunch of 4 Souls cards. And it'll be cool to see you guys, or hear at least about you guys finally playing the game and seeing how you enjoy it. So thank you. I really, I never in a million years thought that I would enjoy Kickstarter. And I remember when Studio 71 approached me and they were talking about it, I was like, yeah, Kickstarter is like the last thing that I think I'd want to do. I'm not a social person. I'm not an extrovert. Like, how am I going to do this? But it's exciting and it's really fun. And for me, if I leave enough open to improv when it comes to design and the stuff that we do, it makes it really fun and exciting for me. I know that other people involved probably aren't as excited when I'm like, they're like, okay, let's see what's going to happen next week. And I'm like, well, I don't know. And they're like, you can't say that. we need to prep. We need to know what's going on. I'm like, well, no, we'll figure it out. We'll just play it by ear and see what people like. And then we'll just lean this way and lean that way. Like, it's just a fun little improv adventure tied to something that I believe in and a bunch of cool people. So I really liked it. That said, it is very draining, and it's not something that you feel drained from until the very end. Kind of sucks the life out of you. I'm a little nervous about tomorrow, about finishing and then not having this stuff, like not having to think of a bunch of crazy stuff to add, or what streams are going to happen, when I'm going to do them, whatever else. I'm hopefully going to avoid that eventual. There's always a drop after you finish a project. But that said, I've still probably got another week's worth of work that needs to be finished, which I'll be doing while we flip, which means just going through and making sure everything is print ready, so we can get print tests ASAP. I can approve those things, and then we can start getting things manufactured. And that's how it usually works. It's just an easy back and forth. And so yeah, I didn't even realize. I looked through and like all of our special tiers are gone except for the signed tier. Someone even bought the prototype, which is pretty crazy. Sadly, I think the prototype is downstairs in a little baggie. But yeah, man, I don't know what to say. As far as getting to a million, I think it's very possible. I think we did in the past day, we did like 30,000. And usually the very last day you get a double bump. So there's definitely the possibility. Yeah, this is my 4 sold box back here. Don't fall. This is my personal play copy. So you can see these are single sleeved clear sleeves. And I've got all the cards in here that have been printed. So there's special ones in here. Look, there's the Champion Bloat. I've got all the Edens. There's that one. But don't worry, I don't have anything you guys don't have. Like the Gish stuff hasn't been printed yet. Or it is printed and hasn't been shipped. But that's my own personal copy. But yeah, so as far as if any of you guys in here haven't bumped to the Not Safe for Work edition yet, and you are into that sort of thing, or simply want all the exclusive stuff that came with it, which is a lot now at this point, and a lot of people don't realize that there's a 4 Souls exclusive card as well, which is a fun one. Bump up to the 69 tier. If not, just add $34 to your pledge. There's going to be a lot of stuff in the pledge manager, which is another kind of like, I definitely want to, if we can, if somehow we don't make it by 10,000 or whatever else, there's a high probability that we will make that in the pledge manager, and we can always count that, and I'll let you guys know. So don't worry about that either. But yeah, as far as today, just let's feel free to bump your pledge, but let's not worry about business stuff. Let's just relax and hang out. I don't care about making money anymore. Sorry, Javon. I'm beyond happy with everything that we've done. I know you guys want to unlock the final stuff, but I think we'll get there. No problem. So What do you guys want to do? Tell me what you want to do. You want me to, you want to ask me questions? Want to ask me Kickstarter related questions or just general questions? Do you want me to break out some sketches, go through some shit? What do you guys want to do? What do you feel like doing? Sketches? You should not lose your gold box if you add to your pledge, because you won't. I'm pretty sure when you go into your pledge manager, you choose which pledge you want to go up to. So it shouldn't bump your pledge anywhere. It'll just let you add money to it. Sketches. You want to do some sketches? Want me dig up some sketches? Okay, let's see. Excuse me. Okay. I have no fucking clue what I grabbed. So I've got there's so much shit on my table here. It's unbelievable. I've got multiple folders and a little, what is it called? A filing cabinet. I have a little filing cabinet over here, which has a bunch of really old stuff, mostly loose paper stuff. I've even got stuff from high school. This goes all the way back. So I don't know what's in here. But if it's interesting, I'll show it to you. We already looked at that. That was already gone through. Was this as well? Yep. What's this? This was also gone through. Okay, so those are those three. What's in here? Bear with me. We'll get to something. We've got comics. We've got comics for days. So anybody who knows my early work should know that the Not Safe for Work edition shouldn't come as a big surprise, because this is a comic that I made and I sold. What is this? The Great Adventures of Little Chubby. Collection of 22 Little Chubby comics, comic strips, and other genital-related humor strips. Right there. I sold that. I sold that in stores. And there is, this is a loose one. There's some highbrow humor. This is Little Chubby becomes, he's a farmer. He's a farmer here. Little Chubby was one of my claims to fame. Even had a Little Chubby paper craft here. I'm censoring it. Some of it's very graphic. This one I don't have to censor because the head's gone. This is Little Chubby. This is why you don't have sex with a cheese grater. You know how it goes. The last 3 comic strips, I was so fucking sick of making dick jokes. I killed him in the last 3 different ways. Oh no. Oh, here's the originals. This is a sketch from This is a Cry for Help, Volume 5, the final volume. Here is an unreleased comic strip. It's a me and Danielle comic strip that never got released. So this had to have been 2000. For those of you who don't know, before I made games, I made comics. I made them independently. So I would just print all this shit out at Kinko's. This ties into... So Longits, which is the yellow worm, fucking white worm. Come on. There it is. I made these are the last comic strips that I ever made. They were just totally stupid. And they were all tied to this same exact formula of six frames. And I made like 30 of them. And they were all about like this. That's it. That's the comic. But I have tons of them. Lots of nonsense. Should I just be reading your questions, or do you guys want me to not show you these sketches? This is boring. There was a pocket of time where I did magazine covers, and they let me put. There was an interview in the magazine for me, and then I just put my stuff on the cover, and then I made Rob Zombie really little over here. It was supposed to be the cover for Rob Zombie, but I made the cover. So there's me. There's me right there, and there's Rob Zombie. I think my honest hope was that Rob Zombie might read this and then go, "Who's this person who got the cover? I want to read about him." For those wondering, so Spewer originally came from a comic book, a really old comic book I did when I was probably 13 or 14, 13? Maybe 15. About this little guy without arms and legs who would vomit out of this backpack that would like propel him around. And his name was Spewer. And I always really liked that, so... When the time came, I turned that into this cute Spewer that you guys all know. This is a bunch of really fucking weird drawings. There was a mechanical phase. This turned into the stuff. So people who ask like where my tattoos are from, there was a time in my life where I was drawing in the mid 2000s. And I was drawing weird mechanical nonsense, kind of. And eventually these became my tattoos, a series of them. They're very strange. And they're just like weird improvised ink to paper stuff. And they kind of turn into like this weird stuff. Then I got into drawing repetition. So I would draw a single character, and then I would just draw that character in a bunch of other poses in the same picture. And I continued doing that. There's more of this stuff. Then I get into drawing slightly distorted versions of people's faces. This one doesn't look it looks more distorted, and maybe when you look further back, it's supposed to look distorted. Yeah, this one will look more distorted. I think I drew people you might know. There's this thing. So here's a distorted drawing of Bob Flanagan. Here's a political one. It's George Bush. Oh, here's Will Stamper. Here's a distorted one of Mr. William Stamper. Here's Danielle, a friend of ours. Here's more of those weird fucking birds. I don't even remember drawing them, but I did. Because there's more in here. There's more. Why did they draw this fucking weird bird? There's this weird bird. Let's kickstart it. Game with weird bird. Oh yeah, then I started drawing on these little things, and this slowly became the tattoos that I have. I should draw again. It's just not as fun as designing for me. But yeah, then I did this weird series of distorted ink blots. What's this? I think they go in sequence. So like this one, and then that turns into this one, and then that one turns into this thing. This is fucking nonsense. And then this thing. Wait, is this backwards? This thing. You get the idea. It just keeps going. I'm getting larger and larger. Oh, here's a cat. There's a cat. Oh, here we're getting into... Oh, this is kind of cool. Take this out. These are the first sketches for Coil. The little life form in Coil, anyway. It's not really called Coil. It doesn't have a name. Here's some weird drippy flesh stitched up stuff that I did. I always like that one. I think these were actually for a local skateboard company. I eventually colored them and drew them and got paid for the design. And here's another. She's a cute one. This lady is somebody. I don't know if there's a Werther's lady, but this lady's... It's definitely somebody. Oh yeah, and then after my gallbladder surgery, I started drawing weird organs. There's some weird organs. There's some more weird things. Here's something too. Oh, here's actually, I don't know, this is an obscure reference. In Indie Game the Movie, they had me sit down and draw some stuff, and so we can get some B-roll of you drawing. And I drew Guppy, and then I drew Tammy, and I drew some sort of mummy. That's them. You can see the little butthole there. Some Guppy butthole. What's this? Tom Fulp. I drew Tom Fulp distorted. There he is, Mr. Tom Fulp. Ah, Dan Paladin. That's a pretty good distorted drawing of Dan Paladin. That's what he looks like. My buddies. Here's a weird head with some guts coming out of it. What's this thing? Can't show that. This is back when I would actually clip and save the whenever if I got any like in the newspaper for my zines, my comics. If anybody would like write about me, I tried to collect that stuff. I have some stuff in here. What's this? It appears that this is a blurb about Meat Boy. This is all local stuff, of course. All right. I've got 2 more folders of stuff here. I don't know if you guys... Should I stop? Should I just read the chat? Or do you want to see more random shit? It's going all the way back to high school now. Do you want to see what I drew in high school? Want to see all my cool, edgy high school drawings? Where I was like really into Slipknot and Korn? What do you want? I've seen the tweet about the rainbow head, but I don't want the game to have any more heads. There's too many heads, so I don't want to do that. More. All right, I'm here. It's fine. Bill, I just have to get off of here in an hour ish, so I have to do a call with Vin. We have to catch up. Any Santa Cruz locals here? Because I've got a picture of the Slow Walker, aka Robert Steffen. I took a photography class. I'm not a good photographer. It's just not. It's not there for me. But this is a local homeless guy who he literally transformed by turning himself into a cocoon. By putting a bag over him, and then vanished, and then became a very pink and flamboyant man who would walk really, 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 really slow. And then that morphed into just a slightly less slow, very pink, flamboyant man who would walk along Santa Cruz. Here's so this might be part of the portfolio that I submitted to get into the Arts Academy in San Francisco, which I did get into but couldn't afford, so I left. This is just a pen drawing of a skull. Look at that. I liked Doom. Here's a sketch of me as the Grim Reaper with dead babies all around me. And this is from probably 98. So long before the Binding of Isaac. Oh, here's another one. This is me on a throne of dead babies. I used to wear a Punisher shirt all the time. I should go back to that, right? All the cool kids are wearing Punisher shirts. There was a website called All Up In Ya back in the Style Project days, and I got commissioned to do the logo for them. I don't even think I ever got paid. I don't think he even ever used it. And this was the sketch that I did for it. It's the Illuminati penis, vagina, eye. There it is. That wasn't submitted to to my college. Let's see. What is this? Oh, here's the design document for the C word. This is what I pitched to Florian on how the game would play and how it would look. We made that game in 12 days. And I thought it looked pretty cool. Whenever, these are Danielle's. I made these for Danielle. She had, I forget what they're called, but she had these little, a series of little plush guys. And I made these they were stickers and or pins of different colors. And at that time, I think I also made a bunch of pins myself and gave them to people at GDC. And these were some of the pins. there's Florian. Right next to cunt. Oh man, here's stuff from Indie Game Movie that was shown. Here's the picture that I drew when I was little of a monster inside my body. What does it say? I'm crying because I thought a big monster was scratching my stomach. I had terrible ulcers as a child. I don't know, so I was always in pain. It was mostly nerves. And that's what I was drawing. Here are the first pictures of the Host from Host, which was a multiplayer, my first multiplayer Flash game. Here are the sketches for Blast Miner, where I was trying to figure out exactly the detail level I wanted to do on the miner. There you go. And there's more. Here's more Blast Miner. I went more with this look. Here's some Visser and Sister sketches for Gish. You can see what they look like. That's what they look like. I went through a phase around Badlands time where I was making weird little... I really wanted to make like a Neopets Pokemon type website. So I started to like prototype different creatures. So this was before the Badlands, but ended up inspiring the Badlands. So this was like late 90s, early 2000s stuff. I drew most of these while I was working at the mall at a kiosk. There's that thing. Some aspects of these things became, enemies in Gish or other things in the future. Like this guy became like a nibbler from Gish. I just really like drawing little creatures. What's this? I don't actually have good hair. I'm lazy. Very lazy. That's it. These are just more ink drawings. I don't know if you guys want to see that. Here's Roger from iMockery. I drew him. Here's a distorted picture of me. And a distorted picture of me and Danielle. Here's another one of Danielle. Whoa. Here's some pretty girls. Here's just a regular ink drawing of a guy with no teeth. For those of you who are asking, can I sketch you a tattoo design? No, I can't. But there's a lot of fucking my art up there. You can just choose. You choose it, and then you take it in, and you say, turn this into art. This was going to be a character. I did a lot of character design or mascot design for different companies, and this was supposed to be an alien for one of the many companies that did pay me, but then went under before they even finished their stuff. Oh, this is another phase. I did these things called roundies, which were all these little faces, these little people that look like this. And I drew a lot of them. Here's some more. Here's Danielle riding a pony. Here's a self-portrait. Oh, here's a drawing I did. This is a pea-shy drawing of a serious pea-shy attacking the sponge pea-shy. Back when I used to draw, and that was actually for the pea-shy battle game, which I have pages and pages of here, which might not be worth showing because it's just a bunch of really weird sketches. Yeah, it's not worth showing. Okay, last but not least, the high school portfolio. Oh, I'm going to show all this stuff. Here's my edgy silk screen of a person with a gun to their head with a religious symbol being cast upon them. Those themes would trickle through my work in a game called The Binding of Isaac. Here's the regular colored version of it. And here you can see some, so this is fucking high school, guys. This is like 17, 18 years old. And you can clearly see that I was already fucking with keepers. I really liked little hanging sack people. And here's what is that, a tongue? It's a lower jaw with a tongue nailed to a board. As you do. Here's some abstract art. Okay, this one's hard to see, but I always like this one. This is one of my favorite silk screens that I did. So this is a silk screen. You can barely make out my face, but around the edges is a bunch of like ink drawings of flowers with fetuses like coming out of the flowers. Here's the little drawing I did of a guy with his head has been caved in by a 2x4. You can get that there. I did a series of faces. Here's some more faces. There's some more faces. More. I think this was the original, the only good one. More faces. There's a face. There's a friend of mine with a gun to his head. There's a stencil of the blue baby. We're getting into weirdness here. This is younger, so this is probably like corn era, so keep that in mind. Oh, here's My Secret Jesus. That was a comic strip I did. He was a little Mexican Jesus. I guess his name was Jesus. Here's the moon card. Oh, these were two logos that I did for somebody who didn't pay me either. This was for band cover, I think. It was the band, either the name of the album or the band was called Vivisection. And I drew these two things for them, a cute version and a not so cute version. I draw fast, so everything I draw fast. There's me as the Suicide King. So all this stuff would find, if you think about it, and a lot of this stuff has echoed into The Binding of Isaac. There's just weird series of drawings that all went together to form this giant mural thing, which was in the shape of the Pisces symbol. It's very shitty though. It looked like this when it was all put together. There's a demon. There's a demon for you. There's the one time I drew weird animatronics. There's a traditional animatronic type thing. This is very corn. This little hanging sack looking thing. That's a Fishmaster on the other side. Ah, the baby in the blender, man. This was the cover of one of my comics. Baby in a blender. People seem to like that one. What's this other one? The guy in a gas mask. My first comic is called Build the Lower Intestine. That's him. And that's Carl, the guy he comes out of who can't die. Oh, one sec. Danielle's messaging me. Peach wants to come up and say bye when I'm going to get off of here. So get ready for that. This is one of the ones that disturbed people. It's me. It's me dead. Lots of fetuses and flowers. There's another weird Pisces symbol drawing thing. When I was like 16, 17, I just got into the habit of drawing myself dead a lot. Like here's me drowning. That was so cool. That was so edgy. Here me dead. I am a Pisces. Here is this alien I did. People like that in school as well. That was one of my more popular drawings. Here's a fat guy chasing cheese. And it says, yum, yum, yum. It's just a fat guy chasing cheese. Here is a monkey with poo. Gotta have that monkey with poo. And then I think that's me pulling out my eye with something. There's one of my first comics called Photos and Zing. These are just like actual comic strip stuff. This is something I submitted as one of my projects, the hypermasturbation machine. $69.99. I was 16. It's a comic strip I did about the stages of death acceptance. And it's all the stages, but it's just somebody rotting. And I thought that was very funny back then. There's old Chubby. This is the colored cutout version. It extends. Made like paper dolls. There's like a paper doll of me, and then a paper doll of my cousin, who was also in my comics. This is one of the covers of my comics too. All these covers. This is the final issue of the comic strip. There's this image too. And that's it. Hope you had fun. Hope it was a trip down memory lane for me. But hope that did something for you. Are we at 1 million? We made $1,000. All right. Let's do QA I've got about a half an hour before Peach comes screaming through the door. Ask me all your questions. And again, like if you asked questions while I was showing nonsense, I wasn't paying attention to the chat. So feel free to ask them again. Question: did Tapeworm really need to be Kickstarted to become a reality? In a way, yeah. I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't a Kickstarter. I don't think I'd do anything physical without doing a Kickstarter because it helps you gauge how many copies you need to make so you don't go over or under. And it helps with overall investing in production. It's also fun. So, I mean, no, it didn't need it. I could self-fund something like that, but then there's no campaign to push it to people. And usually we can get away with selling things cheaper on Kickstarter than we can in retail. So Kickstarter basically acts as a retailer. So if we were doing retail or something like that, they would take 30, 40, 50% sometimes. So the margin of profit is very low. When you kickstart something, you're essentially wholesaling. Like when we put up 4 Souls and we put it up for $25, $30, retail wise, it goes for like $45. So it's like cutting out that middleman part so we can get it directly to people cheaper. So there's a lot of reasons why Kickstarter is really cool for physical things. I would never do a Kickstarter for a non-physical item though, because it doesn't make any sense. But I don't think I would have ever done Tapeworm if we didn't do a Kickstarter for it. It seems like a fucking nightmare to guess and be like, hey, I got this new game. It's physical. I printed 10,000 copies. And now it's up on this website, and then you get one day of news stories about it, and then you got to like peddle it around. It's just an easy way to show your game to people and get people that are interested in on board. And then the more money you make, the more you can spend on a bunch of extras to make the Kickstarter and the people who backed it feel special. So hope that answered your question. One sec, I have to get my chapstick out. Okay. What font have you used to Kickstarter? Wait. What font have you used to Kickstarter and graphics in there? That's my handwritten. The font is my handwriting. So that's just my handwriting. You've seen it in The Legend of Bumbo, and variations of it in other games that I've done. Do you wish to revisit any of these comic series or draw any comics for that matter? I can't say. So the only times that so the way I usually work is when I go to sleep, my brain will tell me a bunch of things and it'll keep me up. I've always had really bad insomnia. It's gotten a lot better though with meditation, but with the insomnia comes the ideas, and what'll end up happening is I'll just end up staying up all night and having to write stuff down in order to stop thinking about the thing that I'm thinking about, and then I put it in a journal or whatever else. The only comic that has kept me, 2 comics that have kept me awake as possible things that I could do in the future if I wanted, would be like maybe when I'm 55, 60 years old, I think it might be fun to do an autobiographical graphic novel. I think that would be a fun retirement type thing to do. And I would also like to finish the Badlands or remake the Badlands comic. Those are the 2 things that I think would be fun, and that's more of a traditional storytelling standpoint. I don't like shorthand, like comic shorthand anymore, like the jokey joke nonsense. There's not enough room to say something, if that makes sense. There's not enough value in it for me other than nonsense. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll get a wild hair and want to do more Long X comics. The Long X comic strips that made no fucking sense at all were the most fun for me to make, and I like drawing them too. But I don't think I'll revisit those. Also, the majority of my old comics are like so, edgelordy dumb, which is fine. It's fine for what it is, but it's not. I'm proud that I did them. I'm glad that they're a stepping stone for me in order to get where I'm at now, but they're not something that I want to like show to everybody and say that they're really good. You had something as a sequel to Ether. Yeah. So I don't know how long ago it was. About 5 years ago, Tyler and I started working on a prototype for a sequel to Ether. I have a design document for it, pretty in depth. It's really fun. It would require a small team because I would definitely need 1 or 2 artists in order to do all the work that needs to be done because I can't do it by myself. I don't know if and when we'll do it though, but we started it and it was pretty cool and it had some really great art. It had some really great music and it was pretty trippy. Maybe one of these days. It's one of those things where it's still a linear game and I'm not feeling a linear game right now. I want to do more of a dynamic, Isaac-y type Mugenics roguelike-y random type game. That's the mindset that I'm in. So it's linear games like that kind of deter me slightly because I feel like they have less value, but then again, I made the end is nigh and I think that's my best work and it's linear. So who knows? Will there still be, wait, what was this one? Weird question, but what city tapeworms are going to be shipped in the UK? I do not know. I do not know any of that stuff. That's a Javon thing. Will there still be Guppy Lost plushes added once the Kickstarter ends? Yes, we have a few. Maybe I don't know if we have any more Lost, but we do have a few Guppy plushes. They're like literally handfuls of them. I think we've got 20, 30, 40 at the most of Guppy. I think we've got like 10 Isaacs. Really piddly amounts, but those will go up and they'll be first come, first serve. So that's why I said if you just add to your pledge now, you're better off. I think the plushes are $35. So if you add to the pledge now, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You get us higher, closer to the goal. And also you get, quick access to add-ons that are currently not visible because they're limited. Okay. When are the Hollow winners being announced if this is the last stream? I'll announce them on Twitter. I will go through. I will do what I usually do is a randomizer, a number generator. I'll just put in the number of tweets. So I'm going to do a random person from retweets and a random person from likes, and then just scroll down and count essentially. And then I will DM that person directly. I've scrolled down, so if I missed your question, ask it again. Is there going to be a not safe for work 4 souls? There is not going to be a not safe for work 4 souls, but there is a not safe for work 4 souls card in the not safe for work version of Tapeworm. I don't foresee myself doing a not safe for work version of 4 souls. It was a funny joke for Tapeworm because of the way they look. And we just kind of rolled with it and kept bashing the joke into the ground. With 4 souls, it doesn't really make much sense. There's no joke there. So I don't think we'll be doing anything not safe for work in it. What was your reasoning behind the ability cards in Tapeworm? Okay, this is a different question. So the reason behind the ability cards in Tapeworm, a lot of people were very upset that I kept adding 4 souls related stuff to the game because they don't play 4 souls or they don't know what it is and they want more of the game that they're kickstarting. So I had to come up with how could I give them more game when I've already tuned the existing game and it's perfect. One of the things that I did mess around with was doing ability cards, but I thought it was too much of an advanced mechanic. So what I decided to do is put those in as unlockable optional cards that people could play with once they've gotten sick of the base game. They could throw in some advanced mechanics. So that was why I did the ability cards. Did you think that you would get famous from your work or feel that you had to do anything you did? Wait, what? Or feel that you had to do anything you did? What? Did you think that you would get famous for your work or feel that you had to do anything you did? I never thought I would get famous for my work, but I knew that I wouldn't be a happy person unless I was making unless I was doing my own stuff for a living. That's just honest. Like it was a struggle staying happy growing up, and it's always been a struggle staying happy in my brain. I require a bit more, but instead of receding, I tend to fight and I go for it. And I find the things that make me happy and I eat those things up as much as I possibly can. I consume copious amounts of movies and music and video games. I try to have as much fun as I possibly can with the people that I like. I get out and I do things that I enjoy, and I don't care if people think that it's stupid that I go get sea glass like an old person. It's really fucking fun, and I love collecting stuff. I focus on those things that make me happy because it's so easy for me to drop into that dark zone. So I just keep myself up. And as a kid, it was very clear to me that I could not work for somebody. I needed to have my freedom, and it just wouldn't make me happy. Like working jobs, and I worked jobs since I was 15. Working random ass jobs the majority of my life. And then trying to do my art on the side. It was always this major uphill battle, but I had no choice. Like it was quite literally fall into a pocket and kill myself, or find some way to be happy and make a living off of my work. And I literally did everything I possibly could to make sure that happened. When it came to getting famous, that wasn't even a fucking thing. It's like, I have very little fame as it is. My work is pretty well known, but people don't know who the fuck I am. But that doesn't matter at all. Like any amount of fame does zero for me. I wish it did. I remember thinking, like, especially when the movie came out, that I wonder if I'm going to feel different if people stop me on the street. I wonder if it's going to make me feel like happier or something. And it doesn't. It was very, very empty and not something that I gained anything from at all. In fact, it almost felt like it took more away from my happiness than it gave to it. So it's not something that I ever really pushed for, but something that I'd hoped would bring some sort of happiness, and it didn't. What makes me happy is having the freedom to continue to do whatever I want to do and be happy and hang out with my friends and kind of goof off and try to make what I do not a job, because when it becomes a job, it sucks. And I've had many games and things that I've worked on in relationships with other people that become jobs, miserable jobs. And it drops me down into that dark state again. So it's like, for me, it was just, I had no options other than I need to figure this out. And I had examples of other people that I knew, like Tom Fulp and Alex Austin and other artists that I really respect, like Tonetta. Just random ass people who live the dream semi-effortlessly. And there's always effort put in for sure, but it appears semi-effortlessly because they seem so blissful and happy and fine with whatever they're doing. I wanted that so desperately. And I just thought to myself, how can I achieve that? And it only made sense that I would have to do anything and everything in my power every single day of my life in order to slowly add stepping stones to where I wanted to be. And where I wanted to be was independent. Financially, I wanted to have that kind of freedom to do whatever I wanted to do, and eventually only make money off of my own work and not have to constantly make compromises and work for other people. And it took 10 years before I was able to make an okay living, and then another few years to float up enough to have a cushion underneath me to take big risks like The Binding of Isaac, which then helped even more. Okay. Playmat costs, no clue. I have no idea. I know that the larger ones, the double mats, they're like more than twice as big as the cathedral mats. Those will have to be a good amount higher too, because shipping also is crazy. Any tips for drawing or how to? Well, you just draw. I think, I never really took courses or anything else. Like, no one really showed me how to draw, but I was really into, like, as a kid, I was really into Garbage Pail Kids and really into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I drew those things a lot. And I think I said this before on stream. And when I was really little, I think I drew something and somebody said it was great and it made me feel so good. And it just gave me that dopamine reward so much that I felt like, well, then I need it again. Like, maybe this is it. Like, this is who I am. I'm the kid that draws well. So I just kept drawing. And I think that's probably the same for a lot of people. That said, I'm sure like everybody's built differently. Everybody's brain is different. And some people are more visually advanced, I guess, than others. So some people may get that reward even better from turning people's heads. But if you want to know how to do anything, you just do it. You do it and you keep doing it. The realistic only way to do anything and get good at anything is to like it. If you don't like something, you're probably not, even if you force yourself, you're never going to get good at it. You're going to get adequate at it, but you're never going to get good at it. In order to get good at something, you have to love it. You have to love it to the point of doing it over and over and over and over and over again, like eating or masturbating. Majority of us are probably very skilled masturbators because we love doing it. But imagine if it was like, I have to do this. You probably fucking suck at it. So that's always a factor too. I mean, that's reality. Like, you can force yourself to get really good at something, but you're only going to go so far because you have to naturally love it. Like, it has to feel good for you, and you'd probably already be drawn towards it if you're, you'd know already if it's in it for you, when it comes to drawing, and working on it. That said, I've seen some people like, both Crystal and Dakara I've known for a very long time, and I've seen them get so good. Like, go from under where I'm at to way above me in skill level when it comes to illustration work. And it's just putting in the time, putting in the 10 years that I've known these people. You get good the more you draw. And that's the thing that kind of sucks on my side too. Like, all the drawings that I showed you, those are from 15, 20 years ago. And I'm as good as that now. And I could have gotten so much better, but I ended up putting in it. Drawing doesn't bring me enough joy anymore compared to something like game design or writing or even just character design. So I feel like I've gotten better at those things, but my illustration skill level has just kind of plateaued. And it's kind of been like that for a while, simply because I don't enjoy doing it as much as I enjoy other things. How many of your games have sewer levels? A lot. All of them. I think just about all of them. Okay, we've got, so Meat Boy does have a sewer level. Original Meat Boy doesn't. But Super Meat Boy has a sewer level. The Binding of Isaac has a sewer level. The End is Nigh has a sewer level. Is that it? Spewer? No. You could say it's a sewer. It's not, though. Yes, I put sewer. Obviously Gish. Gish has a sewer. Sewers of Dross. The majority of my most well-known games have sewers in them. Maybe I should focus on sewers. Maybe that's where the success comes in. Oh yeah, the Bumbos in the sewers as well. So all the good ones. I think I should focus more on sewers. I really like sewers. That all comes from Ninja Turtles. When I was little, I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle. There was a time when I ran away from home and I decided I was going to live in a storm drain. It lasted all but a few hours and I came back home. And somehow my mom didn't care. But I was really into that. And I remember being like 12 to 14, me and my friends would always go like storm drain hunting. We'd go along creeks until we found like a big storm drain, and then we'd climb up inside it and check out all the graffiti and weird porno mags and whatever else, the homeless people would leave in there or whoever was shooting up. I really love the sewers. It always seems so cool. And also there's poop in the sewers, and you can't go wrong with that. So I enjoy my sewer themes. It's just too fun. Why not? Have you got any 4 Souls 2.0 card ideas already? I've got the majority. I've the design work is about 90% finished. I'm going to leave a lot of it open. It's not, of course, to final. I want to be able to showcase stuff, and I want to get some feedback on it. And I want to leave open some stuff to add as we go. But for the most part, the design for it is nearly finished. What's your favorite Mario character? Oh, Shy Guys. Shy Guys by far. I really love Shy Guys. They're my favorite Mario character, period. Mario 2 is my favorite Mario, and I know it's not true Mario, but, realistically, guys, look at the character designs in Mario 2. Or I forget, Doki Doki Panic. Those character designs are fucking phenomenal, and that's where all the good character designs came from. All the good stuff that you're playing in the 3D games now all stemmed from mostly from Mario 2. And I love Shy Guys, all variations. In fact, Serious P Shy was my homage to my favorite character in Mario, which was the Shy Guys. Takara asks, do you miss doing quick games that only take a few days or 2 weeks? Yes, I do. In a lot of ways, this game is kind of a quick game. It took a few weeks. And it's fun. I really liked Fingered, which took a couple months. Probably could have taken a lot less time. I would love to do more stuff like that. It's, and I definitely can see myself bugging and pestering Tyler into something, but I know he's so stuck on finishing the engine and working on Mugenics so we can actually finish something and he can make some money. I know he wants to do that, but yeah, I miss it. I miss it for sure. I would love to do more stuff like that, but I'm trying my best to be an adult and not take on 1,000 projects that put other projects on hold for longer periods of time. Will 4 Souls 2.0 contain elements of repentance? Yes, of course. That's why it will release after repentance. But yeah, the majority of the bosses are all repentance bosses, and quite a few of the monsters and a few items. Is it easier to come up with new ideas or more Isaac-related things? Isaac-related things, you come up with like a bazillion of them right now. It's very easy to expand the Binding of Isaac. When it comes to new ideas, though, I've got literally books of ideas of at least 5 different games that I really want to do before I die. It's kind of just queued up at this point, but like Takara said or asked, I do miss the little quick improvised games, because those games not only are fun, but usually can lead to bigger things. And those bigger things usually are more fun to do. It's like you ride a wave. This is how I usually approach things. So when the Binding of Isaac originally started, we had just finished Super Meat Boy. Everything was done. And Tommy was totally burnt out. It was around the time I think that they hacked Super Meat World or whatever. And so he was like mentally gone, and he was dating somebody at the time, who wanted to go on a vacation. So he's like, I'm gone. I'm done. We're finished with Super Meat Boy. I'm going on a vacation. And I decided I was going to take a vacation too, but I wanted to do it something fun that was fun for me, because I'm agoraphobic. So vacations and travel don't relax me at all. They stress me out. One sec. I know I've totally lost my train of thought. I know what I was talking about. Oh, easier to come up. Wait. Yeah. So while Tommy was gone, I started to prototype a roguelike with Florian that was going to be just in a week, like a week-long project or whatever. And within that week, this little prototype that would have just come out as just the basement essentially, was so fun and interesting and so different than anything else that I'd seen that I wanted to finish it. And it feels like a wave. It feels, I don't know if you've ever been boogie boarding or in the ocean. It feels like you're getting pushed creatively by this giant wave of expandable possibilities behind you. And it feels so great. So sometimes you'll do something and then the wave will just peter out and then you'll just be treading water to try to get to the end goal. And that sucks. But when you've got this big wave of creativity behind you, it feels so inspiring that you just want to ride it all the way through. And that's what The Binding of Isaac was. That's what The End Is Nigh was. They were both my more recent games that I definitely rode the wave on. And you usually find that wave with quick projects. You'll feel it behind you and you'll be like, oh shit, we can expand the fuck out of this and make something awesome. So I totally went off course on that one, but I said stuff. Okay, I've given my art tips. I'm scrolling down to the bottom. Okay. The Mask of Infamy isn't clearly inspired by Shy Guys. It's actually inspired by, what is her name? One of the only bosses in Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2. There is, I forget her name. If I want to say it starts with a V. Somebody can chime in on that one. Fuck, I can't remember her name. But there's a mask that cries blood. And it always freaked me out as a kid. I thought it was so shockingly odd that I wanted to do a reference to that. So that was a reference to... No, it was Camilla. Camilla? It starts with a C. Camilla. Is shipping for the Four Souls boxes going to be sooner than the Tapeworm stuff? Yes. The Four Souls boxes and any existing Four Souls content that we have will ship out right when the Kickstarter ends, right when you pay us in backer kit. And then the other stuff will ship when it's finished. Tyler has been having fun with LED masks. Yeah, Tyler has a knack for going viral. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's a smart guy. It's nice to know that he's doing something while I'm doing this. If you want to meet me, once the dust settles on this whole pandemic, you can find me in Santa Cruz, California, usually downtown Santa Cruz, eating a sandwich with my family. And I'm fine with meeting people as long as, you're not super awkward. Are there completely new ideas for your games being considered or developed, or are you focusing on currently known titles? So currently, I'm overseeing development. All of my designs are in place for Repentance. Everything, all my pieces of the puzzle are kind of in. I developed shitloads of items, a bunch of bosses, and a bunch of, story-driven content, little ins and outs. My stuff's done. It's just all kind of being put together. So that's basically finished. I've mostly finished the designs for Four Souls 2.0. And now that Tapeworm is going to be finished in the next couple weeks, I will be moving on to Mugenics, which is roughly designed. It's pretty open-ended right now, and that's going to be what I'm going to focus on for the next at least 2 years. After that, who knows? If anything else pops up, who knows? But I don't intend on doing much else than that. I don't have any dance moves. How did you get programmers and people to make your games with you earlier on, and how do you approach it now? So the first time it happened was, so I already had an established presence on newgrounds.com and on the internet. Like I said, I made comics. The comics turned into websites. The websites became semi-popular. People knew who I was, and I had a very small fan base, especially on Newgrounds, which I put up a bunch of interactive games and animations. I did a bunch of scripting and stuff for it, but I hated it. I got reached out to by a bunch of different programmers, one of which was Calder Bradford, who actually made an animation with me in it, who is a big fan of my work. And Calder suggested that we make a game together. And that game was Carious Weltling. That was my first game. And I didn't even know I was making games. I was just working with this guy and we were having fun goofing off. We made quite a few games together, and eventually I got a job at a company called Chronic Logic, and I pitched the idea for Gish, and I started working with them. So that's how my first programmer relationship started. From then on out, I'd already built enough of a following that people would approach me with prototypes all the time. One of which was a fucking like 15, 16-year-old kid named Florian Himsel, who kept showing me this fucking spider game that he was working on, which seemed really fucking cool. And he was doing stuff in Flash that I didn't think could be done. And I liked it so much that I decided that I would work with him and I would turn it into a game, which became Triachnid. That's how a lot of my relationships started. It's usually people reaching out to me saying, hey, I'm a fan of your work. Can you check out one of my games? And then if they seem to have promise and I work with them or we connect in some level, I'll usually try them out and see if they're cool to work with. Sometimes it goes south. Like I think I've worked on at least 5 or 6 games for months up to years with other programmers that never saw the light of day. So, it's a hit and miss situation. But around these days, I primarily work with Tyler and Vin, obviously I'm working with too. Established developers who I've worked with in the past, who I respect, and I just share the revenue with them. And if they're having a difficult time financially, I'll float them, and then we can just recoup on profits. And that's usually what I do when it comes to financial stuff. Do you have any future plans of adding more content to the Legend of Bumbo? I would love to be able to do more Legend of Bumbo stuff, but I don't even want to, like, Legend of Bumbo is kind of like, I want it to be better than it is. I know it's functional. I know where it's in a state that is playable. It's one of the first designs that I've released that I feel like could have been so much more, but due to the limitations and the time crunch and a bunch of crazy stuff on James's end, it just did not live up to my expectations, and it did not get to where it needed to be. And I want it to be there, and I want it to get there. And I'm hoping that in the next few months, working with a small team to kind of port the game and remake the game, that it could be where I want it to be. And if it finally is ever up to my standards, I would love to be able to do DLC for it, but I guarantee that won't happen until next year, next year. When do you think Repentance will be finished? Well, later this year. I have no fucking clue. I have a meeting with Vin in half an hour, and we'll check in and see where he's at and kind of go from there. But yeah, I mean, the goal is obviously this year. It would be nice to have it come out right after summer, but shit happens. Okay. All right, Peach is going to come up for the finale. Let's see. Yeah, Zoccoli's is where I eat, where I love Zoccoli's. I also really like Planet Fresh. They had so many weird issues. They had plumbing issues, so it doesn't feel good to walk into a place that has like plumbing issues and it smells like a septic tank when you walk in. It's kind of a turnoff. I think that place might have gone out of business too. Did Vin ever try to approach you prior to Anti-Birth's release? No. I wish that they had. That's one of the things that I talked about him right away. It was like, why the fuck didn't you talk to me? We could have been working together for years. Like we could have had Anti-Birth become part of Afterbirth Plus, and only probably extend development by a year. Like we could have, he just said that he didn't know, he was worried how we would react. But yeah. What's my computer setup? It's just 2 monitors, and a computer that works. After Repentance, Oh, one sec. Let me get that Peach in. One sec, Peachy. Your hair's different. Here comes Peach. You want to sit?
That is a good idea.
Yeah. Here, sit up here. Okay. Let's get you in here, Peachy. There. Peach has pink hair or pink purple hair today. You like your hair? Did Mommy do it?
Yeah, and I have pink
Pink overalls?
and pink under there.
Pink shirt. You want to you want to ask Peach some questions before we leave? Peach, look. We're at almost at $952,000. Do you know how much that is?
What?
A lot. You guys want to ask Peach some questions before we get out of here? I got to go downstairs and go to the bathroom, and then I got to come back up here and talk with Vin. I'm sure I'll do some streams in the future, but yeah, as you know, anybody who's been around for a while knows that I do streams in spurts, and once I'm over it, I'm over it. Hey, Peachy, what's your favorite toy?
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs? You don't have any dinosaur toys. Is this a dinosaur? This isn't a dinosaur.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's a caterpillar.
Yes, it is. It's called dinosaur.
Peachy, do you like memes? What's your favorite meme?
Look at this photograph.
It's true! She does like that meme. Yep, that is her favorite meme. Peach, what's your favorite color?
Purple and blue.
Purple and blue.
Right.
Peachy, how do you feel that you're not in school and you have to stay home all the time because of the sickness?
Because I like not being at school. Because I want you at school.
You want me at school?
Yeah.
Do you like staying home and not playing with your friends? You just want to stay home?
Yes.
But do you miss your friends? No? Do you miss school at all?
No.
You just want to stay up all day long with Mommy and Daddy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I want to play.
Let's see. Somebody asked, Peach, do you know how old am I? Do you know how old I am? You can guess.
100.
I would be dead if I was 100. What about Mommy?
6.
6. Okay, good. Good one. We'll tell her that. Let's see. What do you want to do when you get older? What kind of stuff do you want to do when you get older?
I want to make stuff with the baby when she's big.
You want to make stuff with her? What kind of stuff?
Sponges.
You want to make little sponges with the baby when you're older. Sounds good. Okay. What's your favorite tapeworm of all the different tapeworms? What color?
Pink.
Pink? Good choice. Peach, do you like Daddy's art?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing that Daddy has made?
Isaac.
What's your favorite game?
Isaac.
What's your favorite game that you play?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
Yeah.
You like playing Dungeons and Dragons? We attempt to play Dungeons and Dragons, but she can tolerate it for about 15 minutes, and then she wants to make up her own rules and play by herself. So she does. But you also like playing charades? Don't you like charades? And we play this game called Sneaky Squirrel,
That Annika has.
Yeah, Annika has it. It's a game like Hi-Ho Cherry-O. It's basically the same game. What's your favorite candy?
Jack in the Box.
What?
Jack in the Box.
What's a Jack in the Box?
Because you play it with everybody.
What's your favorite candy? Not the game that we play.
Bodies.
Bodies.
On Simpsons. That little body.
What are you talking about? Candy.
M&M's.
Okay, good. M&M's. What's your favorite cartoon?
I can't think.
What cartoon do you like to watch on TV?
No, I can't think.
Are you done?
No, I just want more. I can't think what cartoon.
Okay, we'll come back to the cartoon. But remember, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
Ariel.
How about if I say it like this? Oh!
SpongeBob.
There you go. I think that's probably the cartoon that you watch the most. She also watches this cartoon on YouTube called Steve and Maggie. She's watched since she was little. What's your favorite food?
I'll tell you.
You're just okay. She's gone off. She's gone off the deep end.
I want.
What's the biggest number that you know?
20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 20.
20 is the highest number. You missed, I think, 15 and 20 somehow.
15, 20.
15, 20.
Hello, gentlemen. You say I'm a little baby.
Do you want to say bye to everybody?
No, I want to say idea.
We gotta go soon. I gotta go to the bathroom and I gotta get it ready because I gotta come back up here and talk to Vin.
Well, if you go in here again, then I'll come up here again.
You gonna just bother me?
No, I want you to talk.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be fun. We're just gonna talk about game stuff. Do you want to tell anybody anything before you go? You want to tell them a story or anything that happened recently or?
One day I had a little dream that I was in the beach and then little crab got my little eye out and then I was a little worm and then I crawled on your head.
Really?
Yes, I got it on everybody's head.
All right. Okay. So,
Then I have a story that I lose all my teeth and I didn't get any teeth ever again.
you're like a little baby.
And then I had a little popsicle and only these teeth.
You got to go over this way. Yep, that's it? You lost all your teeth?
And then I lost my eyeballs and my bows and my hair.
Okay. Thanks, guys, for the Kickstarter. It's been super fun. Good times are being had. Continue to spread the word. Raise your pledge. Get us to 1 million. Say get us to 1 million.
Get us to the million, blind. You're blind.
You're blind. Keep it up. We'll get
You're
there.
blind.
See you guys next time. Wish me luck. You want to say bye?